Round the fire, warm and bright, stocked up food for the night. Got our plans set in gold for the days when it's cold. Tools and gear stacked up high in the cabin we reside, listening to the winds howl, prepping for the morning's prowl. At the purpose fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night.
Well, what an interesting start to a live we've just had. Well, I will fill you all in. Comments, we have been talking to you for the past 15 minutes. Why have you been ignoring my questions? It's so rude of you. This is what happens. This is my head's frazzled, and we ended up. This is the situation we've ended up in. So, hello to everyone in the comments. I've already said hello to you all once, so I'm not going to go through your names. You know who you are. Thank you all for being here. We were waiting for Roland. That's obviously why we were late, because we were just wanting to wait for Roland, not because we made mistakes.
Hello.
Hi, Roland. How are you doing, Brian? How's your day been?
It's been hilarious the last 15 minutes.
No, I'm actually was sitting on the couch, and then I next away. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So Roland fell asleep. Mike's technical skills went to pot, and Andy's still MIA. So welcome to Preppers Fireside, everybody. We are live. We're actually live. I've double checked. Everyone quickly check. The first question I've got goes to all the comments. It's a simple yes, 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 no, 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 all that lot. Simple yes or no question. Do aliens exist? And have they visited Earth? That's a simple yes and no answer for them too, of what your thoughts are, because it'd be interesting to see the numbers we get on that. Brian, I've no idea what you're going to say, but what's your answer to this?
You'll probably be shocked with this revelation, Mike, that it's yes, yes for me. So I believe that they have.
Mm-hmm. Right, and we'll get Roland's answer.
Okay, my answer is different. I think yes, but if yes, we wouldn't be there.
We wouldn't be there.
We wouldn't be there as humanity.
So you think they exist, but they've not been here?
Yes, because every time when an advanced civilization is meeting a non-advanced civilization, the non-advanced civilization will die.
Oh, it's not very diplomatic approach. What happened to years of Star Trek?
No, you have to imagine. Go 600 years back to 1472. When the Spanish arrived in America. What happened with the indigenous peoples? They died all.
Yeah, but you're basing that on humans, right? To be honest, we're all assholes, right? Hopefully, a more advanced race are less assholey than we are at this stage.
Do you think they are not?
Well, hopefully they've bred out of the assholes, and that's how they've managed to do interstellar travel, because they're not all competing over money. They're more advanced. So I'd like to think so. We shall hopefully we shall see. We might have already seen if some people's in there. The comments are Ready Prepper 1 is on a yes. Phil Hull, yes, yes. Rod's yes, yes. Everyone's yes, yes. Miss Worm says the same as you. Roland, yes, no. Katarsnia, Qatar says yes, no. I'm going to pronounce that right one day. Indy Scott Bryan says yes, yes. Yes, yes. Everywhere there's many yes, yeses. So yeah, there's the consensus. The consensus is aliens exist, right? Why is that the consensus? What's the proof, Brian? What have we got?
Like the technological gains that we've made from it, for want of a better word. That's if you don't go back to ancient cave paintings, how technology was moved, how things. So, God, you could talk about this for years. If you go back to like the Younger Dryas event, when everything got reset, like 12,500 years ago, they said that the oldest thing that man had made was like Stonehenge, that sort of thing. It's like 4,500 years ago. And then they found Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which reset things back to that sort of time period. So I think we've had advanced cultures that the Earth's wiped out by its own volition over time. Every ancient people's got the flood myth. Everyone, no matter how far back you've got. So, and if you look at the King's List from the Anunnaki, whatever it is, I can't pronounce it. They basically had people living for thousands of years, and yet, as we evolved, the time period that you were alive decreased. So, I don't know. I think we've had a lot of intervention.
Interestingly enough, in Genesis, I'm not religious, but in Genesis of the Bible, I've been listening to it for research purposes. Everyone's like lived 600 years, 800 years, 900 years. It was just ridiculous.
If you look at the Sumerian Kings List, it dictates all the kings that they had, and they lived for thousands of years. And yet, when the archaeologists looked at it and went, no, that's all accurate after this point. Before that, it was all bollocks. But we agree on the cuneiform texts that they're accurate. So they're accurate if you agree with some parts, but ignore the rest. Right? And if you're not sure of what it is, then automatically it's for religious beliefs or whatever. But when you get right down to nitty gritty, I look at lifting equipment for a living, right? And I would love to know how you move a 1,000-ton block, right? Because when you start talking about wooden rollers and greasing it with cow shit, I'm sorry, the ropes and hemp that you're weaving together, it's physically impossible to get enough bodies on it to do it. So if you ever see a 900-ton crane setting up, it's got like 12 lorries to bring all the ballast weights to site to do it. And to build, like, say, the Great Pyramid, you would have had to put like a 6-ton block every 2 minutes for 25 years. So I've got a lot of questions on the technology and the help that was given. We've either forgot a lot of shit or people had a lot of help. That's what I think.
Interesting. You were a yes on the first point, Roland. So what makes you think we are not alone in the universe?
Mathematics.
Yes, this is mine.
Yeah. There's a Drake equation. And he...
As if by magic.
There
you go.
Yeah.
You want to explain it?
Because of this, I believe not that we are alone in the universe. I think there are other civilizations, but depending on how far they are out, we will never reach them, and no signals them will reach us.
What about this signal that NASA has picked up? NASA's been detecting a signal repeating every 22 minutes, and it's been going for the last 30 years.
I never heard of this, actually.
There you go. It's a radio signal coming from space, and without fail, it hits us every 22 minutes, and it's been happening for the last 30. I think it's 35 plus years.
This could be a neutron star, in theory.
Over 35 years, that would never differentiate in 22-minute time slots. It wouldn't.
I don't
vary. It's interesting. Let's have a quick look in the comments, see what people are saying. Now that we're here and they can hear us and all that lot, the joys of going live. The alien is space, the moon, the sun, and what's floating up there. There you go. Clones, resets, and making is living a construct over and over again. Memories of past life, anyone? There you go. Yeah, past life memories. That's what a lot of people talk about, right?
Deja vu.
Deja vu. That's a glitch in the Matrix, right? If I'm if I'm not wrong. My theory is the same as Roland's. For my 2 cents, it's based around like the Drake equation, what he mentioned, which is here, which is basically saying that the odds, it's all about odds. It's about how many planets are out there that are the same sort of distance from the sun, that have the same sort of protection that life can naturally develop on. So the odds are there's going to be life there. It could be aquatic single cell organisms. It could be advanced civilizations that we don't know. We don't know what the timeline is in that. And the planets are out there because the NASA Kepler satellite has found these ones. And personally, I like Kepler 69. It's a great name and it looks closest to us. But yeah, how could there not be some form of life developing on planets like that? So that's the interesting one. Regarding visiting us, I'll throw a few pictures up and I want your thoughts.
Crop circles.
Fake.
I like that one. That's cool. Right, so you said fake straight away. So in 1976, Doug Bauer and his co-conspirator Dave Chorley first created a representation of a flying saucer nest in a wheat field in Wiltshire, England. They couldn't have foreseen that their work would become a cultural phenomenon. Is that what it is? Some of these are so intricate. Are we saying this is all man-made and people overnight? Brian, what's your thoughts? I'm going to go Brian first because you shouted fake, Roland. I know your thoughts.
Well, look at it this way. What's the best way to make something make it a laughing stock? If you've got something that's been put there, right, by somebody other than as a joke, right, the easiest way is to cast doubt on it is to get somebody to confess to having done it as a hoax. With the accuracy involved, when it's I've seen a few different videos on it, and the ones that have been hoaxed, they've done it with the plank method and a bit of rope, and they use strings and lines to draw the circles and keep it accurate, right, to a degree. But when you look at the way it's been done and the manner in which the wheat fields and that and the crops have been damaged, when you look at other crop circles, they actually look like they've burst and been ruptured by heat from the inside out. So the failure mode of the crop being bent over is entirely different. It's entirely different when you look at the plank method that the hoaxers were elaborating. That's what they did. Mm-hmm. It's like a bit of string and a plank that they walk around the field. It's been crushed and bent over. It looks totally different from the other ones. And the other thing is, there's also trails where they walked in with the plank and the people to get there. With other ones, there's no footprints. There's no damaged crops making a path to make the thing. So my take on that is, it wasn't hoaxes on some of them, but the hoax has been perpetrated to make it all cast out in it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, I mean, technology is advanced, right? So there's people. If there's a hoax and it's a good one, people will always try and do it a better way. You shouted fake, Roland. Do you believe that for all of them?
Yes. If you would have asked for the Nazca lines,
right,
it would be something different, because crop circles can be easily done from humans, as seen. Mm-hmm. The Nazca lines, not so much.
Explain to everyone the Nazca lines.
They are, you can find them in the Andes, in South America, and there are different kinds of animals in stone.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you the Wikipedia link.
I'm on it. You keep talking.
I already got it.
It's not a competition, boys.
Yeah. To explain this, when they were created, it's pretty impossible. And Eric von Däniken made a really good series about them. So there could be something that they were that someone was already here or not.
Mm-hmm.
Hence,
What do you think of that, Brian? The Nazca lines?
It's funny how both things are, from a top-down perspective, is somebody that's in the air. Isn't that interesting? No matter who made them, it's interesting that both are from a top-down perspective, right? The Nazca lines are also done, or could be done, by the same method as the alleged fake crop circles, because it's an exercise in geometry. Strings, sight lines, you could do it. I don't think that's what it was done by, but you could do it with surveying tools and units of measurement and strings. But the crop circles, pictographs are quite a big thing. When you talk about alien encounters and things, pictographs, cave paintings, it's just another method of communication.
Yeah.
Pictures, mathematics. So I don't know. I remain to be convinced it's all fake.
Well, the deep space probes, we had a lot of like images like that, pictures of like man, woman, and stuff like that on there, didn't we? So that's the form of communication.
no, Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, his man. Yeah. I don't know what the name of his man is. I can't remember the name of the portrait. It's got a name, hasn't it? Anyway, so.
And we sent a LP, a long player disc.
That's right.
In gold.
Yeah, we said yeah. Hopefully,
that's on Voyager, isn't it?
and then I wonder. Looking back at this planet, if you find that probe, you're thinking, "Oh, these guys have really thought about this message." And then you start heading towards the planet, and then all of a sudden you see a Tesla car with a dummy in it floating around, thinking, "What the hell were these guys doing?" Area 51. They have, well, as always, been like the center of all this, and the crash, and they've got the bodies, and there's been leaked footage, and it's always grainy, and it's always a bit, and then there's hoax ones that have actually shown you it's hoax ones. Something there, Brian?
I think the easiest way to hide a secret is in plain sight. Right? So, and the bigger the lie, the bigger it is to believe. But to answer that is two questions. The biggest reason for wars in humanity throughout their little time on this planet has been religion, for the most part. And if you were to wipe out religion overnight by saying aliens have come down from space and landed in the White House lawn, there would be anarchy overnight. So my personal opinion is that the intention at the start was to drip feed information out, and it's become such a big lie that they're caught in their own web of lies, and they don't know how to put it out there. That's my kind of thoughts on it. But Area 51, Bob Lazar, I could watch a video of him one day and say he's full of shit, and then the next day I take it in like a ton of soup. So
depends on the mood.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to believe him, but he's past checkered with so much bullshit as well. It's very hard.
Well, we can protect ourselves from things like that with our hats. There we go. Roland, where's your hat, Roland?
I don't have one.
Oh, shocking! Well, they're definitely going to take your brainwaves. You'll
out of luck here by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Quickly before they abduct you, Roland. What's your thoughts on Area 51?
I actually believe that. I go a little bit back. Have you ever heard about the Nazi bell?
Yes. The Glocken.
Yes. The bell.
The Glocker, that's it. The Glocker.
Yeah. Which was actually what they told that they used anti-gravity already back then, and that this was actually stolen and brought to America. And yeah, it could be that something is there. Do I believe it? No.
I've heard of the De Glocker one, but I don't know if I believe the Nazi bell. Then it goes down the rabbit hole of red mercury and all that other bollocks that's been debunked. So, no. And as far as anti-gravity and things go as well, given the fact that between religion and the petrodollar, most economies rely on oil and the petrodollar for their economies. If you were to bring out something that says overnight, you don't need fuel to fly, you don't need an internal combustion engine, the economies would crash. So even if they've had anti-gravity, it's not going to come to the civilian market till we've got no more dead dinosaurs to dig up.
It's a good point about maybe that's the fuel allowance cut. Maybe we try to fossilize some more.
We're running low on Triceratops.
In the comments, let's pick up a few comments. Guys, there's loads of comments coming in on this one. I'm just going to star a few. If I miss it, I do apologize. Before I go to the comments, I'd like to say big thank you to Neil, who sent a $4.99 super sticker. Much appreciated, Neil. Thank you very much. So in the comments, Ready Prepper One said, find an old map of the world, older the better, then compare it to today's map. Same. 200 years ago, how did they draw maps that accurate back then?
Oh, he's talking about the Turkish Admiral, the Piri Reis map that showed Antarctica with river tributaries before the ice was formed. I believe that's what it means anyway.
Okay, cool.
You heard of that one?
I've not heard of that one, no.
They call it the Piri Reis map, and it was a Turkish admiral, and he built a map from old bits of maps that he found from all over Persia and different parts, and part of it showed the continent of Antarctica, but pre-ice. So it showed you river tributaries and mountain ranges. And then when the Americans were doing surveys and like seismic charts and radar scans of the land masses around about the 60s and 70s, then they identified the river tributaries. But up until that point, nobody knew any of that shit was under there. But if you go back to the old Piri Reis map, they were all there. Sorry, useless trivia.
Interesting. Polonium says the chances of intelligent life existing elsewhere in the universe is quite high. The chances of them existing at the same time as us and being able to travel here are astronomically high. People don't often think about that, like the time it takes for life to develop and stuff like that. The fact for them to be on the same sort of time period as us, or more advanced or further behind, but even in the same billion years, it's got to increase the odds that it not being the same, right? No answers. We'll go on to the next one. Jump in anytime you want, gents. Podcast. If aliens,
a question. Sorry, what was? Go back to that one.
It doesn't have to be a question. It's a conversation, Brian. Doesn't matter. If aliens have bothered to come all this way, why would they bother fannying about like that? It's a good point. I mean, eloquently worded by Miss Worm. Why would they go and put a crop circle on? Why wouldn't they just come down and say, take me to your leader?
Well, perhaps let's put the Star Trek head on, right? And the prime directive, and they don't want to get involved. So, say you had a tribe in the Amazon, and you jump down, and they're running about in loincloths and spears, and you give them a submachine gun to hunt deer, and then you go away and come back and killed one another, right? Perhaps our benevolent overlords are giving us drip feeding us information, or communicating in a time fashion that's worked for them with primitive savages like us in the past. Don't know.
Interesting. Roland, you don't think they've come here at all, right?
I think something influenced our advantage, how we advanced.
Mm-hmm.
If it was naturally or if it was from the outside, it's unknown. I believe that they are there, but I only believe that they visited us or they are here when I see them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, from the mathematical point of view, they should exist. From the mathematical point of view, they should be able to visit us. But if they are already here, I don't know. I believe it when I see them.
Explain the pyramids then, Roland.
Oh. Well, well, they had a lot of people to work and a lot of time.
I tell you what, they had a better work ethic than most of us.
Well, if your boss stands with a whip behind you, you would work as well.
This is this is very true. It's good encouragement. Have you ever seen? I'm trying to find. I can't find it off the top of my head here because obviously I'm super prepped. Have you ever seen that these pyramids line up around the world? Have you seen that theory where it lines up with other great wonders,
I
as it were?
think I saw something, but they are more. They talk about ley lines.
Yeah.
And set the ley line, that the pyramids are set it on the ley lines from the Earth.
Okay. And how would they do that?
I don't know.
He has no answers. It must be aliens. Go on.
I don't know if you're familiar with one that's. There's been various artifacts taken out of the pyramids. That are out of time. They're out of their time period. So they'll talk about the mole scale of hardness, which rates everything from like 0 to 10. Like, and they've found vases that have been made. There's really good videos on it. I'll let you share them later on. I'll send you links to them. But basically, these things are so many microns accurate that the only way you could have built it was in a lathe. They're made out of like really, really hard granite, but they're so thin, these vases, and so perfect that you can actually shine light and see through them. But it's brittle and it's hard. Now, you didn't make these with a hammer and chisel or casting, right? These things have been cut with absolute precision. Look on Uncharted X. He said various engineers doing tests on it with the last one was with a electron microscope, and it is unbelievable. It'll blow your fucking mind. And then they did other ones about the sarcophaguses, they weren't even sarcophaguses in the Great Pyramid. They had huge big granite cases that when you drill into it, so there's drill marks, but when you put a sort of cloth around it and take a casting of it, it shows you the rate that it's been fed in. So the rate that this should have been fed in to do it and leave these marks on it, like thread lines, if you like, it would have to have like 30 tons of pressure on it and begin in at 1.5 meters per second. We can't do that now. So it would blow your mind. It's really, really good. Sorry, this stuff really interests me.
No, this is Brian's going to make us all believers. I like it. Continue with the comments. Polonium says, I believe Area 51 is a decoy. While we're focused on that, we're not looking elsewhere. Yeah, hiding in plain sight.
Probably moved. Sorry, Mike.
Hiding in plain sight, like you said before.
I think there was probably stuff at Groom Lake, but because of all the attention and stuff now, they've almost certainly relocated it somewhere else. But that keeps your attention, so throw them a bone every now and again to keep the attention there. I think he's got a point.
And it's great for tourism in Roswell. Just like the Loch Ness Monster up there near Loch Ness, that's great for tourism, right? So the definition of key lines has not been hijacked. They're actually ancient tracks between important places, not mystical. There you go.
There's a power grid theory on that. So they'll talk about the Great Pyramid being basically a power station, and there's different schools of thought on it, but they put water in at the bottom, and with the resonance of the earth and it going up and down, it creates power in these shafts, and it's really quite interesting, that one. There's another theory, the Great Pyramid's a power station, and like Mistworm was alluding to there, that it might be part of a transmission grid throughout the earth. Who knows?
Yeah, it's the ley lines, isn't it? Ley lines, the mystical paths said to connect ancient artifacts.
I posted it on in our chat.
All right, okay. RAF Typhoons out of Lewismouth have attempted to shoot down UFO when it descended from LOE polar orbit. I've looked to see, in doing a bit of research for this before I had my EV meltdown today, I was watching videos, and obviously you get sucked into a rabbit hole on the YouTube videos on stuff like this. But a lot of this, I mean, people are saying like, oh, sightings have doubled in modern times and stuff like that. No, it's because we can actually record now, and it's not really on a grainy photo or camera, something like a black and white thing. So the fact that we're capturing images like this now, and even I don't know if you saw the testimony of that US Air Force officer David Grush. Yeah, and he's got, I mean, he's not somebody out for the money. He's not trying to get tourism. What's the agenda if he is faking it? I mean, what do you think
of Congress? That guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bold move, right? If it's just a hoax.
They dumbed down his testimony and what he was allowed to speak about at the end.
Yeah,
he was supposed to have a free gratis to say whatever he liked, and at the end, when he was getting put in front of Congress, the panel that was going to be there changed, the scope of the investigation changed, and what he was allowed to say changed as well.
Interesting. So what he said, even though it was still quite bold, was a dumbed down, was a censored version.
I think so. Do you not think, though, it's more socially acceptable now that you're not looked at as much of a screaming maniac and getting put in a straitjacket if you talk about this?
I'll take it off.
Yeah, they'll be okay. Well, we're sitting here on a Sunday night at 9:45, and there's people in the chat got enough interest to listen as well and talk about it and throw ideas about. So it's more socially acceptable.
Yeah.
I think Brian was right with one thing what he said is, if they would be here and if the whole humanity would know it, it would take a pretty long time to get acclimated to it, to the thought that there are more advanced people as we.
They are among us. This is the other question. If they've made contact, how long before that would be public knowledge? Is it going to be a 50-year till the open records job it? Will we get, will they not be able to deny it, and it'll be like an Independence Day style ship size coming over a city? What's the government going to tell us?
Depends whose lies you believe, though. There's one story and version of events that aliens met Truman after the Second World War, and in exchange for offering them technology, they'd be allowed to take a few people for no harm experimentation. And then as time went on, they were warned by another race that, incidentally, these are all bad guys, you don't want to deal with them, and we can't get involved. And rather than taking as many as they were allowed, they took more and more and offered bits of technology. So there's different schools of thought. There's that one that's way out there, that Truman met aliens and Majestic 12 was formed and this sort of shit. And then you've got other ones.
That sounds very Men in Black to me. It sounds like origin stories of Men in Black.
it's a wild one, but that's one that's floated about as well.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Roland, on things like that kind of theory that the government's been in on it for a long time? Not necessarily our government, but our government.
If they are, they hit it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I always question that, because people go in and out of government, right? You think there'd be whistleblowers galore.
Yeah.
And but obviously then people would start saying, yeah, but they become for tragic accidents when they whistleblow.
Not everyone.
Admiral Byrd, have you heard that one?
What's that?
Admiral Byrd?
No, go on.
Admiral Byrd was a famous US naval officer, and he took a fleet of ships to Antarctic after the Second World War. And he alleged that he was in an aeroplane and he flew over Antarctic, and he went through a tunnel, was escorted by different fighter ships, and it was a tropical climate when he went inside the hidden Earth theory. and there was a bit of a battle, and they came back and there was damage. Funnily enough, he did a public speech about it that was on TV, and then they locked him up in a mental asylum. The Defence Secretary Forrestal, he fell out of a 6-story medical room in Bethsaida shortly thereafter as well. So there's little things like that going as well.
But in Antarctica there are more stories, and there are stories from American pilots from a C-130 with a hole in Antarctica and where they can't fly, and Do
you know it's still a no-fly zone? Interestingly enough, you can't fly over Antarctica without permits. It's illegal. You'll be shot down.
That's because of flat Earth theory. There's an army of NSA dressed up as penguins guarding the wall. Did you not know this?
Killer penguins.
Quick, put it back on. Right. Any personal experiences, guys? Any personal experiences? I've got one. I'll let you go first, Brian.
I brought this up. It was Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't know, something like that. So, 2010, mother passed away, left us some inheritance, bought a caravan, and I needed an awning for it. So, was on the internet, hobby, in fact, it's still there, the advert, if you search for it. It was a hobby caravan. The guy was selling an awning down in Dumfries and Galloway. Me, wife, 3 kids, in the car, drove down. We're in the car, driving back up the road, country roads, pitch black. And it was like a, best way to describe it, like a sergeant chevron on somebody's shoulder, right? Like a V. And if you imagine the light starting at the top of the V and then pulsing down towards the tip, and then starting again, and then doing that and pulsing down. And as it did that, it came from the sky to treetop level, and then turned in the horizontal plane and disappeared. Pretty fucking much like that, yes. But you didn't see all the lights lit up. If you imagine the lights starting at the edge and then working towards the tip.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember you mentioning the chevrons, and I thought if you bring this up, I'm going to try and find a couple, and that came up, and then this came up. I don't know if this is a time lapse with the 3 lights, but that's what I could see.
First one, if you imagine those lights starting at the edge, that's interesting. So if you imagine the lights starting at the edge and then going out and then lighting in the middle towards the tip and then going out again and starting pulsing towards the middle and coming from the sky down and then going horizontal and disappearing. Exactly like that.
Did you all see this, like the whole family?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone is. And when it got to the horizontal plane, I said to her, I says, look at that. We'll drive around the trees here and we'll follow it, and they all start freaking out. So the kids were quite young at the time, to be fair. But yeah, that was in 2010.
Often we see these triangle shaped ones, and people will put it down to like a B-52 or like a big bomber or something like that. Do you think it could have been anything like that?
No. Well, the thing is, the running lights are different for military and civ aircraft. They've generally got wingtip lights and things like that flash on and off, but you can't really mistake that for this.
Yeah.
And you can't get a sense of perspective or scale because it was dark, because you didn't have anything to reference it against, and it was difficult to do it with speed as well. But it wasn't like it zoomed down and zoomed away. It was quite sedate. The pulses, they weren't continuously on. They pulsed towards the tip, and then as it moved down, it did that, and it went horizontal.
Give us a year, roughly, when this was.
2010, exactly.
2010. Interesting.
Because we just buried my mother on Christmas Day in 2010. And we got a small amount of money in about April, and we bought a caravan and went and get on it. So, yeah.
Yeah, 2010. Roland, have you had any experiences?
No, but I have to say something about the whole ship theory and so on and so forth. I think if an advanced civilization is building ships or can build ships which can span the whole universe, they don't give a fuck about how the ship is looking. A spaceship has not to be aerodynamic. It doesn't matter for a fucking spaceship.
No, well, it not necessarily. It depends. I mean, you bear in mind, you think of like, obviously, when you think of a rocket that goes to the moon, we think of a normal rocket. It's got aerodynamics to get out of the atmosphere. If you look at the space shuttles, they're aerodynamic to re-land and to take off. So aerodynamics could come into, if they're not building it in space and getting off in space, they might need that.
If a civilization is so far advanced, first of all, they have shielding, because if you fly in space for a longer amount of time, the radiation will kill you. So they have to solve radiation shielding. If they have a kind of an energy shielding, you can use the energy shielding to simulate aerodynamic. But in space, you don't need any aerodynamic. The best show ever with spaceships and the description of spaceships was Babylon 5.
Cracking series, that. I think what Ronan means is that
that's not aerodynamic. It's got flat sides.
Even that aside, you could be any shape you like, because you need to overcome the problem with mass and inertia. If you accelerated really quickly and you'd no means to mitigate that, you'd be a smear. And
shield.
You only need to be, there need to be something to negate the inertia and being a bloody smear. But the other thing would be friction. Once a certain point going through air, you'd need to mitigate friction and the effects of that. Plus, there's no sonic boom associated with a lot of these reports. So it's interesting from an engineering point of view.
Yeah, definitely. I'll before I do mine.
Probably answer Mel.
So we've got Miss Worm said Mr. Worm is a big alien believer. I like to upset him by saying the lunar landers is a fake, and sets him off every time. Set me off as well, I think. Don't. Do you ever see where Buzz Aldrin nearly punched out that lad for saying it? And Mel said, is this the path that the Fireside is off down now? No, Mel, we said we would do this as a one-off, as a laugh, as a special. So, no, don't worry. If you're just joining us, these are for fun. We don't really wear them.
Not often, anyway.
Yours is falling apart.
Yeah, that's because I built it, mate. Shoddy engineering.
Right, so mine. Okay, so mine is a lot longer ago. That makes sense. No, a long time ago. It was a
galaxy far away.
Yeah, definitely. It was 25 years ago, to be precise. I was but a boy of 15, and I was outside a friend's house. We used to do street hockey a lot. So we were on our rollerblades. The night had come in, so we'd stopped playing hockey, obviously, and we were just chatting and stuff. And it was 3 lights. Now, there wasn't laser pens galore back then. This was before everyone had a laser pen to torment the cat with. There was 3 lights in the sky, and it came over, and it just looked like a plane. And I don't know why I'm doing that with my fingers. I've got this. So it just looked like that. And it came over in like a plane formation like that. So it could be the tip and 2 ends of the wing. And then it stopped more or less above where we thought it was above us, but it was not. It was like kind of off to the side. And then the front light. So this is your 3 lights. The front light went between the other lights. And then this one went between that. So the triangle just literally turned inside out of itself, pointed another way, and it shot off at a speed I've never seen anything go in my life. And we and another friend saw it just before my mate came to the door, and he just thought, he was just saying we were full of it, you know, as kids do. And it was only 2 days later where this had been sighted, not just by us, by people all the way up Rivington, up Hunger Hill, over into Lancashire. It was absolutely spotted by loads of people everywhere. And there's pictures galore of it. Similar sort of thing. And it went from this almost firefly style movement, like these little embers on our background, that kind of level of pace, to suddenly rigid and shot off. And that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anything since. That was 25 years ago, but yeah, and it was spotted by more than just me.
There's lots of unusual occurrences that, I mean, my wife doesn't even like to talk about it. She'll admit it, and
Yeah.
she'll say, yes, she saw it, but she gets scared even talking about it, which I think is quite interesting and funny.
Yeah, there's nothing to fear. It is in the past. What do you think of them, Roland? Then come on, you're a bit more skeptical, I believe. So let's have your 2 cents.
I'm not skeptical. The thing, like I said, I believe it when I see them.
Yeah.
When I see them before me and I can grab them, then I believe that. There are a lot of things where you can actually explain, be it with physics or chemistry or whatever. Some things we can't explain.
Yeah.
Or maybe we are at a moment in a stage where we are not able to explain them.
Ah, that's interesting. Did you see the chat about the TR3B?
I saw D Hall mentioned that with a question mark. I don't know what that is.
When you look at pictures of it, see the black triangle you shared? It's
Yeah.
not unlike that. It looks to be a bit like a B-2 stealth bomber in aspect. But I've never heard of the TR3B. But once we finish this tonight, I'll be doing a lot of reading. That's a good shout. Thanks for sharing that, mate. I'd have come on tonight just for that alone.
Is this just a concept?
Don't know. I've not had a chance to read anything about it. I only read the comment, and while you were chatting,
I posted it.
Yeah, it's interesting because most of the images I'm finding look like concept images, like drawings rather than an actual photo. So yeah, very interesting. Yep, TR3B loads in the 90s, seen it myself. Interesting. It was like I say, I'm skeptical on anything, ghosts, everything. You know, I'm very similar to Roland. I have to see it to believe it. But I couldn't work out that. And if it had just been a triangle that had moved and moved like a triangle and it just buggered off like a triangle at a normal pace, it would have made sense. But it's just the way it moved. It wasn't. I had a little cutout, and I was even trying to think if it went over that way, would that? It wouldn't. It just didn't make sense the way it did, because what was the front light would have ended up as the wing light as it flew that way. It was very odd with that one.
Like the impossible triangle.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Flinders Petrie. Look up a guy when you get time tonight or tomorrow. A guy called Flinders Petrie, and drill tube number 7. That's yeah.
Flying over Arizona. That looks similar to that concept, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm not sure how that could be that plane that you're sending, because it doesn't have that kind of empty space at the back, right? It's a weird one. Right. Anyone else got any experiences in the chat? Please let us know. I know you're limited on how much you can type, but give us a brief rundown and we'll definitely read them out and have a look at them. Philip Hull says mass hallucination, spores from magic mushrooms. Potentially, but it was all walks of life that saw this. I was living in the Bolton area at the time, and it went all the way up to Lancashire. So it was weird. And it wasn't even something like, I wasn't big on alien stuff or conspiracy or anything like that. So at first I was just like, what the hell was that? Bob Laser explained the sideways turn before motion as how they use the anti-grav.
See, Bob Lazar can be very convincing, but when he was last on the Joe Rogan show, he developed a migraine and wasn't able to talk about things in detail. So some of his interviews are really good, and other times you think he's full of shit. He's got a channel with that George, the reporter guy, George, I can't remember his second name, and the guy that did his documentary on It's on Spotify.
Right.
Oh, the gimbal one's a good video as well.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I already started on this rabbit hole. This was supposed to be a one-off special. I could see me 2 months' time. UK Urban Prepper turns into full-on tinfoil hats alien conspiracy channel.
Well, here's a spin for you. How do you prep for an alien? Right, let's say tomorrow, right? Somebody does land in the White House. What do you think would happen?
I don't think we'd have a chance in hell. If they're that advanced civilization that they can even get here, then the weapons are going to be beyond belief. It's going to be a case of hide for as long as you can, go underground, right? Don't be seen.
The thing
or say, "Hi, Mr. Overlords. Yes, I'll be your friend. I can help you enslave these humans. I don't mind."
How come we turned into Roland there?
I actually think for humanity itself, to be honest, CME or aliens which are visiting us with a bad mood would be the best what could happening to us.
The best?
Yes. Because it's the only time we would band together and fight against them.
Okay, yeah. Suddenly, small wars over fossil fuels don't become. It would unite the earth. That's an interesting theory, and it's kind of the Independence Day method of that, right? You always see it on the, oh, we're going to need Russia's help. Everyone bands together, blah, blah, blah. How would you prep, Brian? Somebody who just kisses his ass goodbye when a nuke comes.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I don't know. I think any preps that you're doing for most things that could change your life would be applicable in that scenario, because there'd be problems with food distribution, shocks to markets. Your job might not exist overnight. If technology changed, your role might not even be there in society. You're a car mechanic, all of a sudden, cars are obsolete. You get flying cars. So let's just change the tune there.
Teleportation.
Oh, he's gone.
We've lost Brian.
Brian is gone.
He'll be back in a second, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I go to the comments quickly. Philip's full of interesting points. Aliens versus Cowboys, underrated film. Is space the final frontier? I would say no. I would say death would be the final frontier for everyone. Indy Scott Bryan says Mars attack. Oh,
there was I don't know if you know the one different YouTube channel, Infographics, and he made a video about how I survived 200 or 300 days of alien wars.
All right, okay.
You have to watch it. It's pretty nice.
Okay. I'll have to have a look at that. Brian is back. Did they
Sorry.
probe you?
No, I even bought my beer first.
You asked the question on the alien invasion, and then somebody mentioned this.
That's a terrible film.
That's a brilliant film.
Oh,
it's one
God,
of
no.
Pierce Brosnan's best work.
Oh, it's absolute bollocks. Jack Nicholson, isn't it?
Yeah, in fear of waking up my family, can I just say, nah, 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 nah.
Oh, it's awful. Oh, no.
So, yeah, we fight them with really loud yodeling music, according to Mars Attacks.
I think most of this came from the question the other night about deactivated missiles in Russia and deactivated missiles in America. And that was what prompted the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that they're benevolent and they wouldn't let us blow ourselves up.
Well, we might find that out. We might
The
be
way things
testing
are
that
going,
theory.
mate, yeah.
Neil says, I'm a believer. Always funny patterned blue lights in the 90s behind my Cosworth. Oh, you guys are great. So, I mean, what going into movies, and I realize we're coming to our time because we started late, but going into movies and stuff like that, it's very interesting of the extreme differences. Because I mean, you look at Alien, like the Sigourney Weaver movie, and then you look at things like Star Trek and stuff like that, where they're very humanoid. Yet we've always had this image of little green men. What do you think of the image that, or do you think that's just somebody's come out of somebody's head and just stuck, where it's a big head, big eyes, little skinny body? Where's that image come from, Roland? And what do you think that?
I think that there was the book from Carl Sagan, where he described how different alien civilization could look like, but it's actually something we imagine. Alien life doesn't have to look like we. It could look like everything. It could be even a rock, a silicon life form.
Yeah. Interesting. Brian, is it little green men with big heads and big eyes?
Well, there is cave paintings with those images on it for thousands of years ago, which is interesting.
Is it cave paintings or is it students gone up there in the meantime?
Bit of both, mate, bit of both. But there is cave paintings with that on it. It's funny how the ancient Egyptians always had images of people with large elongated heads that were from the Zep-Tepi, the before times, and also that the Mayans actually practiced rituals of banding heads together to try and make them have that appearance. Two different land masses try to achieve the same look.
Yeah, there's African tribes that have the rings around the neck to stretch the neck, right? It's So
they saw something that they liked or revered, and they've tried to emulate it on two different sides of the planet.
Yeah, interesting. Put your hat back on, Brian.
But the little green men, think about the Greys, for example.
Yeah.
If you can mitigate the effects of gravity on your body, you don't need a large muscular frame with heavy bones, right? But if you've evolved in a place that's got low or poor light conditions, you're going to have a big eye. Cranium sizes generally denotes intelligence, apart from me, because I'm thick as two short planks. So they'll have big eyes, big heads, and thin, weedy bodies. Possible.
This could be actually explained with historic consciousness. Since we are all based from, should be based from one race or one people. There are theories that what one part of the mankind is going through, the other part of the mankind will actually remember at some point in time.
How does that work?
Collective memory.
Interesting theory.
I'm being told to mention contact. Sorry, on you go. I interrupted the last time as well.
Ready Prepper One said nukes are obsolete with the weather weapons being activated by China and USA. Off topic a bit. And Amphia says the alien surrender terms have already been agreed to reduce humanity by 90%, aka Georgia Guidestones.
Don't know that one. Never heard of that.
Is this the reason for the winter fuel allowance cut yet again? Everyone zoom in on Starmer, say if he's blinking this way or this way. We don't know.
He's a lizard. Starmer's lizard people.
That'd probably give him more justification than just being an asshole. Sorry, that was supposed to be in my head.
It's a fair comment.
Men in Black has the answer, Mike. Pug dogs that talk. There you go. Pugs that talk there. It's a suit though, right? That's the idea of Men in Black. They've got them in disguise with the whole international air. I would love if the great reveal that aliens among us was like on that kind of level. Like, yeah, they're here. They export cigarettes. They have a laugh. They drink in a bar. They're just like us with interstellar travel.
Hopefully not.
The grey hive theory, the taller grey ones being soldier caste. There you go.
Don't know that. I'm going to read that as well. A lot of little tidbits tonight to read.
Yeah, kind of like insects.
And there's another theory. How was it that in some part of Alaska there are alien bases?
Oh, the Hollow Earth theory. They get through Antarctica into the middle.
No, in Alaska. I saw it on a different video. I have to remember.
I saw one kind of like that. They were talking about going through a hole in the earth in Alaska, and when you go into the centre of the earth, there's an alien species living in there. That's an Earth theory.
We also think telepathy, but don't rule out pheromone communication. I do that.
Mount
Just wait
Hayes.
till I get a set of links. We'll sort them out.
The mountain is Mount Hayes.
Mount Hayes. Ah, okay.
I posted it.
Cool. Thank you very much. I hope aliens turn out to be cats. I don't.
No, cats are little bastards.
Yeah, I know. That'll be the most aggressive alien race ever.
Other than women.
I didn't say that. The views expressed by Brian are not the views of Prep and Fireside. We are the children of aliens seeded here. When will the parents return? And where are the babysitters? Fell asleep on the job.
I like that one. I like that a lot.
Ah, they owe me a lot of birthday money. Right. I think we'll come to the end because, like you say, we could probably talk all night about little green men.
Huge subject.
Little green men, star people, also have their muscle known as Sasquatch. There you go.
I prefer the ancient alien theory. The potential of advanced civilizations on Earth before us that have been wiped out. That interests me more than aliens. To be fair, I read that a lot. Yeah. Somebody mentioned Graham Hancock.
One last question for us and for the comments, so get it in quickly before we end. You can pick one, either series or film. What do you think would be the most accurate representation of alien life or alien contact or anything like that? What do you think's the most realistic or could be the most realistic representation?
Babylon 5.
You're going to go Babylon 5. That's extreme, I think. That's extreme.
I like that. That's my kind of thoughts.
Roland?
Well...
Mars attacks.
No. I would go actually with a kind of Independence Day.
Independence Day. Dark. He's dark. Yeah. Nice.
Because if they arrive, we die.
Yeah. The original, not the terrible remake. The terrible sequel. I'm probably on the similar sort of length as Roland, but I'm going to say Falling Skies. So...
I watched it. It was all right. It was okay.
It was a good series. It suffered with the writer's strike towards the end, but it was it was a good series.
That was the one. The guy was in. He was a doctor in a hospital program, wasn't he?
ER.
Aye.
No, Wiley.
That's the guy.
Never seen ER. No idea.
Yeah, but he also played in The Librarians.
All right. Okay. Oh, The Library. I started to watch that, but I really didn't give it more than an episode. I don't think. In the chat we have Quartermass in the Pit.
Oh, that's an old one.
I don't know if I've ever seen that one. Is that a series?
It's black and white.
Miss Worm
black
showing
and
her
white.
age. Miss Worm
And
showing her age.
it's actually worth watching.
Yeah.
I could name one which nobody of you is knowing.
Is it going to
It's
be a German one?
yes, Raumpatrouille Orion.
I can't spell it.
The ship has the name Orion.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, you'll have to put it into the comments, and people can have a look for that. Ready Prepper One, Star Wars. I mean, that'd be nice, but I don't. I think that's another quite an extreme version. Signs says NJ660. Sixth Sense. I'm not sure that was aliens. That was just dead people,
Ghosts.
right? Yeah.
That was the Bruce Willis one.
Yeah, where he's been dead from the very beginning. Spoilers. Ronnie Rubble says E.T.
Oh, what about the fourth kind?
The fourth kind. The hell. American Horror Story says Jin.
Dunno.
Was that alien?
Not really.
It was mainly nutbags, right? V. That was a good one. There's a few people said V. D. Hall says V. Sharon says V. Trade says V.
But the old one or the shit remake?
I assume the old one.
Yeah.
Didn't they try to remake it and then it like only lasted a season or something like that?
It was utter dog shit.
Yeah. The Arrival says Katazuna. God damn it. Love Signs. I don't know if that's a film or he just loves signs.
But what I'm wondering, you as Brits, you should name Moonbase Alpha.
Oh, that was a good one. Space 1999.
Yeah.
Blake 7.
Blake 7. Get out. We're currently living through the X-File.
Could be.
Space Above and Beyond.
It's a great one.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm going to save this chat and put it on the replay for this video just so I can go through and pick out things I've not seen.
Have you seen Space 1999, Mike?
I think so, but many moons ago.
It's a classic.
Mr. Worm says Doppelganger.
Don't know that one.
Don't know that one. The accent on the A tells me it's maybe not English.
Never saw them.
Yeah. AHS had a series about UFOs and Eisenhower. Elusive Dartmoor's late to the party. Terrorhawks and Quartermass conclude. These are awesome, guys. Anyway, we're going to end it because we're just rambling on now. But thank you for all them. There's loads there that I'm going to ping up and have subject the missus to sci-fi for the next 2 weeks. And then I will go full Canadian Mikey as I tell you about how the aliens are going to attack us. But you can save us from the aliens by joining the channel as a member for only $2.99 a month. And you'll be entered into our monthly draw, where this month you can win a mystery box with something broken in it, apparently. Don't forget, check out Brian's channel. And Roland, have we got videos yet?
No.
Oh
Still
my God.
was on holidays. And yeah, now I'm on search for a car.
Like, it should all be a video. Everything can be a video, Roland.
No, nobody's
Searching for your prepper car.
In watching me learning stuff for Security Plus.
There probably are. Brian, what's the next for your channel?
Next video is going to be a simulated power cut. I'm going to kill power to the house for 24 hours and run it off house batteries plus some power banks, and if need be, the genset. So
don't bother, guys. I've seen his house. He's just going to be. It's going to be life as normal. He's got more batteries than Tesla. No, that'll definitely be an interesting watch. Is the missus on board with that, or is she going away for the night?
No, she's on board. It's 24 hours maximum. I think that was how the negotiation went.
Well, yeah, just make sure the last thing you do before she murders you is send me the video and I'll get it uploaded for you as evidence.
Thanks, mate. You're a hero.
Roland, when you get round to it, what's in store for your channel?
When I'm finished with all my stuff, at the moment I have really a lot of on a plate. Next week I do the exam for Security Plus. Then I am going through the whole application stuff with companies. Hence, I don't know if I'm. Yeah, I hope that I'm staying in Ireland after the whole application stuff. But I have also applications running in Germany. So yeah,
Cool.
It's all in the flow.
Well, we look forward to your first debut video and we will plug it galore when it happens. Phil says, thanks everyone and well done for your patience, Mel. And then we'll be back to our regular programming next time on Prepper Fireside. Next video on the channel, I'm going to be reviewing this. And that's all you're getting.
Is that an anti-bit plug for Alien Probe? You never miss a trick, do you?
Why would I buy one of there? What would I do with my 5 litres of KY jelly if I was going to buy one of them?
That's for the members' draw. Do you worry about your ass being probed by aliens? Then fear no more, avid listeners. For $5.99 you can buy Uncle Mikey's anti-probes insert. I don't know why I thought of that. I just did. I'm sorry. I've got it.
I'm more disturbed at the words Uncle Mikey's. It sounds creepy as fuck.
I'll keep you your marketing guru.
Right. Anyway, from the Tinfoil Hat Brigade, we will see you in the next one. Brian, would you like to say goodbye to the lovely people?
Goodbye, lovely people. Oh, Mrs. Worm's got a marketing strategy for you. Available in small, medium, and super large.
Christ. Sign off already. Say goodbye. Roland, would you like to say goodbye to everyone?
Guys, thanks for coming and seeing us laugh our asses off.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks from me. Like I say, we'll be back to prepping after this week. It was just a one-off special. Don't forget, stay safe and keep watching the skies.
Water stored in jugs and tins, bunkered down through thick and thin. Maps and routes all drawn and laid, preppers live unafraid. At the prepper's fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night. In the glow of embers dance, we've prepared for every chance. Living simple, living true, with the dream we all pursue.